Hello students and welcome to the third part of chapter 14. So today uh, we will start from topic 14.2.4, which is improvements in the technology for using conventional sources of energy. So let's start with biomass. We mentioned earlier that wood has been used as a fuel for a long time. In olden days, people were used to wood. They burn wood, and after burning wood, it produces heat and smoke, and they cook their food. If we can ensure that enough trees are planted, continuous supply of firewood can be assured. But due to the lack of awareness in people, there are very less amount of trees. So the wood is a big problem as a fuel. You must also be familiar with the use of cow dung cakes as a fuel. Given the large livestock population in India, this can also assure a steady source of fuel. In villages also, people they have many cows, so they use the waste of cow dung as a source of fuel, and that they will stick there on the wall, and after few days when it will become dry, then they will burn it, they will heat it, and from that smoke they will cook their food. So cow dung is also a good source of fuel. Since these fuels are plant and animal products, the source of these fuels is said to be biomass. Okay, bio means any kind of biotic living things. So plants and animals are living, so they are called biomass. These fuels, however, do not produce much heat on burning, and a lot of smoke is given out when they are burned. So its calorific value is very less. That, for example, they will produce very less amount of heat which is required, and on the other side they will produce large amount of smoke, so ultimately it will harmful for the environment. Therefore, technological inputs to improve the efficiency of these fuels are necessary. So now in this 21st century we have many advanced technology. So by the using of this advanced technology, how we can reduce smoke and how we can increase heat from this biomass product, that we will study. When wood is burnt in a limited supply of oxygen, water and volatile materials present in it, it get removed and charcoal is left behind as the residue. Charcoal burns without flames, is comparatively smokeless and has a higher heat generation efficiency. So after burning of wood, you have observed that the black color powder form is stay there. So that black color powder is charcoal, which is left behind after burning wood as a residue. That charcoal will be burned without flame, it is smokeless, and it will generate higher heat efficiency. So we can again also use that charcoal for burning. Similarly, cow dung, various plant materials like residue after harvesting the crops, vegetable waste, and sewage are decomposed in the absence of oxygen to give biomass. Okay, some processes are doing with presence of oxygen, they are called aerobic, and some processes which are occurring in the absence of oxygen to give biomass, they are called anaerobic processes. Since the starting material is mainly cow dung, it is popularly known as gobar gas. Biogas is produced in a plant as shown in figure 14.4. Okay, so another name of cow dung is gobar gas. Okay, so please remember. Okay, now this is technology. This diagram which you are seeing, this is the main technology to reduce smoke and generate more heat from cow dung and biomass. A plant has a dome-like structure built with bricks. A slurry of cow dung and water is made in the mixing tank from where it is fed into the digester. Okay. So first you have to build a brick structure, and then cow dung and water you have to mix, and then you have to feed it in the digester. The digester is a sealed chamber in which there is no oxygen. So in that process, anaerobic microorganisms that do not require oxygen, they will decompose or break down the complex components of the cow dung slurry, and they will convert it into simpler components. It takes a few days for the decomposition process to be complete and generate gases like methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and hydrogen sulfide. Okay, see, these bacteria microorganisms are very slow, so they will not do processes very fast. It requires lots of time, so they will require many days to complete this decomposition process and convert it into different type of gases. The biogas is stored in the gas tank above the digester, from which they are drawn throughout pipes for use. See, now I will explain you this diagram. First of all, here the cow dung and water are mixed. Okay, so then they will come here. Here the anaerobic respiration will happen. Then due to anaerobic respiration, the gases will be uh, come out from that respiration anaerobic process, and these gases will be collected throughout this gas outlet, and the remaining which stay here, it is collected and it is converted into manure or fertilizer. Okay, so by this process we can 100% use the cow dung and water. That after generating gas, the residue which become left, we can convert manure and fertilizer from that residue. Biogas is an excellent fuel as it contains up to 75% methane. It burns without smoke, leaves no residue like ash in wood, charcoal, and coal burning. So, wood, as we have seen earlier, it releases very toxic and waste like the charcoal, coal powder, etc. But this biogas is excellent fuel which has 75% methane. Okay, so gas is collected will be 75% is methane. Its heating capacity is high. Biogas is also used for lighting. The slurry left behind is removed periodically and used as excellent manure, which is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. The large scale utilization of bio waste and sewage material provides safe and efficient method of waste disposal besides supplying energy and manure. Do you think that biomass is a renewable source of energy? Yes, biomass is in fact renewable source of energy because we can use it again and again. Like cow dung is infinite. There are many cows, so they will continuously give us cow dung. So we can 100% convert that biogas into energy form. Part is converted into gaseous thing and remains are converted into fertilizer and manure. So we can use it 100%. There is no residue left in biogas. So these are the advantages of biogas, and this is the biogas plant schematic diagram. Okay, yes, you don't need to remember this diagram, you just need to remember the whole process. Now second renewable energy source is wind energy. Okay, wind means the flowing air, the air which is moving in our atmosphere, it is called wind energy. We saw in class 9th how unequal heating of the landmass and water bodies by solar radiation generates air movement and causes winds to blow. Land breeze and sea breeze, these two type of breeze we have seen in class 9th. Okay, this kinetic energy of the wind can be used to do work. This energy was harnessed by windmills in the past to do mechanical work. For example, in a water lifting pump, the rotary motion of windmill is utilized to lift water from a well. Today, wind energy is also used to generate electricity. Windmill essentially consists of a structure similar to a large electric fan that is erected at some height on a rigid support. Okay, as you can see, here is a windmill. So what happened when wind will come here, then this fan will be rotated, it will rotate circularly. So by converting it into with joining it with dynamo, we can convert that mechanical energy into electrical energy. Same way, this gas, okay, this gas which are released by pressurize these gases, we can run turbine, any fan, and then after rotating those fan we can convert that mechanical energy into electrical energy by dynamo. So to generate electricity, the rotary motion of the windmill is used in turn the turbines of the electric generator. The output of a single windmill is quite small and cannot be used for a commercial purposes. Therefore, a number of windmills are erected over a large area, which is known as wind energy farm. The energy output of each windmill in a farm is coupled together to get electricity on a commercial scale. Okay. For example, whenever you visit some uh, ocean area, then you will find windmills there. Okay, and these windmills are not alone. There is no one or two windmills, they are many, like 50 or 100 windmills are set up at one place, so that by the combination or addition of all that mechanical energy, we can ultimately get a large quantity of electrical energy. Okay, so ultimately our source of energy is what? To convert every type of energy into electrical energy, because electricity is in huge demand nowadays. Wind energy is an environment friendly and efficient source of renewable energy. It requires no recurring expenses for the production of electricity. But there are many limitations in harnessing wind energy. Okay, now it is renewable energy, we can get wind continuously on by ocean or by open areas, but there are also some kind of disadvantages. So let's see what are limitations in harnessing this wind energy. Firstly, wind energy farms can be established only at those places where wind blows for the greater part of a year. The wind speed should also be higher than 15 km per hour to maintain the required speed of the turbine. Okay, so we cannot install this windmill in Ahmedabad or Baroda, Surat, Rajkot, these type of cities. They require very open area, and wind speed should be higher than 15 km per hour. So we have to check that whether that place that speed is achieved or not. If that speed is achieved, then we can install windmills there. Furthermore, there should be some backup facilities like storage cells to take care of the energy needs during a period when there is no wind. Now, it is not we cannot take that by 365 days or whole year there will be wind in that place. It may be some days that when that time there is no wind there. So to storage the large amount of electricity, we required storage cells. So whenever there is more amount of wind and it is excessive than our requirement, then we can store that excess energy and take that energy when there is no wind. To take care of energy needs during a period when there is no wind, we require the storage cells. Establishment of wind energy farms require large area of land. For a 1 megawatt generator, the farm needs about 2 hectares of land. Okay, so you can, if you compare this with hydropower energy, biomass energy, then it requires very large amount of area to generate 1 megawatt of electricity. The initial cost of establishment of the farm is quite high. Moreover, since the tower and blades are exposed to the variety of nature like rain, sun, storm, and cyclone, they need a high level of maintenance. Okay, they are made up of metals. So, with the presence of rain, air, oxygen, like that, they will be rusting. There will be rusting process, and after some time, those metal are not working properly, so we have to change that fans metal thing. Okay, blades we have to change, so it requires a high level of maintenance cost also. So by considering all these its limitations and advantages, we have to, government should plan to establish windmills or not. Okay, so you can be asked to write a short note on windmills like that. What are the disadvantages of fossil fuels? Okay, they are very limited, they are not infinite, like that. What are we looking at? Alternate source of energy, that they should be highly efficient, we should generate more amount of energy from limited sources, like that. How has the traditional use of wind and water energy modified for our convenience? Okay, what are the modern technologies which are used to increase the efficiency of wind and water energy? Okay, so I just give you hint, not proper answers. You find the answers from your side in the book and then write these answers. Okay, so I will end today's lecture with this topic. In next topic we will teach 14.3, which is alternative or non-conventional sources of energy. Okay, so till then please read this chapter carefully. It is very easy chapter, and if you have any doubt then please ask me. Okay, so thank you and see you till the next lecture.